Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm adding the counterbalancer kit to my Valor Fitness Smith machine. I've had this Smith machine for several years. I've really enjoyed it. It's given me a lot of good reps out of this thing. It's performed fantastically. I did a real quick review of it on my channel if you want to go through and find that. The reason I'm adding the counterbalancer is because my wife has decided finally to join me in the gym. She's worked out doing just body weight stuff for a long time, and now she wants to do strength training. So when she grabbed this 35-pound bar on this Valor Fitness, she struggled with it at first, and so thought I'd add a counterbalancer so she can get some reps in. I want her to be successful, and this is the easiest way to do it. So $150 on the Valor Fitness website. I'm excited, quite honestly, because I've kind of wanted it for a while. I cheaped out when I first bought this Smith machine, and I didn't add it, so I'm stoked to have a reason to add it today. I've already done this side, and you'll see here's the pulley that comes with the Smith machine. Here's the cord from the counterbalancer. The counterbalancer is inside of the frame, and then it attaches back here on that part of the bar. So I'm going to take you through. I've done this side. I struggled just a little bit, but that was my mistake, and I just wanted to do a real quick video just so you wouldn't have to struggle at all. And I'll show you how to do the install. All right, so these are the tools that I used. 17 millimeter box-end wrench, 17 millimeter socket, and I've got some red thread locker, and I'll show you where I put that. I do not want these bolts coming loose, and so that's a safety measure that I took, just in case. The kit comes with, here's one of the counterbalancer weights and a cable, and these things are heavy. So to counterbalance that 35-pound bar, it takes a pretty good weight to do it. So I'm gonna set this thing up. I'll take you through. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this top cap off. I have to take out these two bolts on the back of the frame. I have to take out this bolt, get this pulley free, and then I've got, the only thing they don't supply is the bolts that go back here in the back of the Smith machine on the bar, which are pretty critical. But the weird thing about Valor Fitness, I say it's just kind of weird, they included it originally with the Smith machine, those two bolts. But even if you don't buy the counterbalancer, and when you buy the counterbalancer, you don't get the bolts. So they're assuming that you've saved those two bolts. So if you haven't, it's a pretty common bolt. So if you don't have it on their website and their YouTube channel, it'll say if you don't have those, contact them. I guess they'll ship them to you. I don't know. But if you're in a hurry, I'm sure they're available at your local hardware store. I did have mine. I found mine in my little bucket of bolts that I always keep. So spare parts came in handy again. All right, I think we'll get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this. This has a nut housing inside of the weight, and you just thread this end of the cable into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this nut off just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and start threading that in. I didn't put any thread locker on this because it takes a little bit of muscle to get this thing in there. Let me see if that's a 17 millimeter. I can't remember. That wasn't open. I used my crescent wrench, so you'll also need a crescent wrench or the appropriate size wrench for this. I didn't take the time to look that up. I just grabbed my crescent wrench. The do-it-all, the most universal wrench in your toolbox. One of the most important wrenches. This was actually my dad's from years and years and years ago. That wrench is probably 60 years old, still going strong. Just gonna back this second nut on here as a safety. That's the reason I'm not using thread locker. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here just in 1 second. You'll see that cable is going to twist around you. No biggie. And the other one, the first one I did not get this all the way down into the counterbalance weight. So it's kind of gets to a point where it's as far as it's going to go maybe. So you put the squeeze on it. When you can't put any more squeeze on it, then you're there. So this one's going down a little bit further than that first one. So may have to do with just the quality of the threads and what have you. So I think that's probably good enough. Now, when I say good enough, you'll see that's down pretty far. Now I'm gonna tighten this nut up here, and that's gonna keep that from backing out. So put the squeeze on that. So that's what this will look like when you're finished. Okay, so just install that. We'll set that to the side for just a second. Come up top, pop this cap off. Be a lot easier with a screwdriver. But the first one came off really easy. This one's gonna come off kind of easy. Okay, so let's get into our disassemble. Another good use for my plyo box. Easy peasy. Again, 17 millimeters. I tried 11/16, and you can probably see the sockets still stuck on the safety post over there on the other side. Okay, so let's take out the bolts holding the pulley in place. And I didn't cinch that one down at all when I installed it. I just merely let the start down. Oh, that's a problem. Now we want to pick one of these safeties. I think I went, let's see. You'll see the socket on that one, so I'll go with the same one over here. I always put this stuff back together, so in case I have quite a few pieces, I know what goes with what. Set that off to the side. Now, here is the trick for this. So, when you've taken the bolt out of your pulley, and you just lay your pulley forward like this, and you take these two bolts out. And the reason you're doing all this is because that weight's going to slide in and come down this frame. Now, that weight is really heavy and it's cumbersome. And so when you put your, you get a long screwdriver or one long enough to go in there, you're gonna put it at an angle. I was trying to go straight across and the weight wasn't hitting it. You want that weight as you slide it down to stop at the screwdriver so you can come back up here and do the work you need to do on your pulley. Because trying to hold that cable and try to put that bolt back through that pulley is a booger. So this was the one thing that I didn't quite catch on the video from Valor Fitness, and this is critical to success, is that screwdriver going in at an angle, and you'll see why here shortly. So I think we're ready to put our counterbalancer down into the frame. See if I can do this without kicking all my hardware off of the plyo box. Okay, simply gonna come up. Have enough surface area, holding this cable, and just slide it nice and easy down to that screwdriver. Okay, you see my screwdriver is moving there. All right, so that screwdriver moved. That wasn't real confidence inspiring, so I'm gonna try to work kind of quickly. I'm gonna get this cable wrapped over the front. And the cable will bunch up on you just a little bit because it wants to twist. Just a second now. I'm making this look a lot harder than what it actually is because that cable is twisted. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'm gonna start over that cable. So it twisted, I'm gonna twist it. And I'll tell you what I'm doing, go ahead and install the pulley. And then I'll pull the cable down. I think that's gonna be the easier route to go. So, you'll see the pulley has like this plastic spacer in there to run on the frame. Make sure you are still utilizing those. That'll take the slop out. There's one on either end. 17 millimeter, 17 millimeter. I torque that down, but I'm not trying to squeeze that frame in super tight. Once those nylon, that nylon inside the nut housing, it's a safety nut. Once that nylon gets fully threaded, you should be good to go. So you want plenty of play in that pulley. And the weight of this counterbalancer will take the rest of that out. And it's not, because I have fucking dropped something down there. All right, you're probably thinking, what the hell are you doing, Travis? Well, yeah, this turned into a problem. And I'm gonna show you what happened so it won't happen to you, or at least you'll be cognizant of it and what you'll have to do to fix it. So on this pulley, the other pulley, this did not happen. You'll see on this side, here's the bearing, that little silver part, and then this side has a cover. This one came off too, but it was sitting on top of my counterbalance weight because it came off after I set it down in there. These are pretty critical in the operation of the pulley. So if you don't have this, there's going to be a tremendous amount of slop. So I thought, well, it fell to the bottom of the support leg right here. So the left side, that's what that is. I thought, well, if I take it off at the bottom, hopefully it's hollow all the way down, and it'll be sitting on top of the base down there. I can simply grab it and retrieve it. Wasn't that lucky. This bottom is completely enclosed with that plate. And so that's good. I think that's a good design by Valor Fitness or whoever builds these things. But you have to take it off in order to do this. To get the bearing out, or the bearing cover. So, it's not that big of a deal. It's a few bolts. These things go together pretty easy. They're fairly simple, but I had to take it apart to get that little piece of plastic out to make sure this thing happened. Like I said, it didn't happen on the first one, no issues. This one, big issue. So be cognizant of that as you're pulling that bolt out of that pulley, that those bearing covers are in there, and if they fall, you're gonna be doing what I'm doing. Let's get this thing put back together. All right, so kind of back where we left off when we figured out our pulley was all jacked up. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, got everything put back together, lower this back down to my screwdriver. Oh, all right. firmly on that. Let's thread our cable back over the pulley, being very careful not to knock those damn bearing covers out. It wasn't like too terribly bad, but that's not something that you want to do on this multiple times. All right, so let's see if I can get this pulley put in here for good this time. So I think everything is good on that. Cable is not bent, freely hanging. Okay, I'm gonna tighten this up. All right, I think that's good. Very stable now. All right, so now I bored my bar down just a wee bit so that I could take care of my business. Oh shit. Almost kicked it out from underneath of that. Don't want to do that. That would be a catastrophe. And we've already had too many catastrophes as it is. So no moss. Okay. So I think this is the bolt that came with the kit. I don't know if it is or not, but it fits. And so this is where I'll put a little bit of thread locker on, because this doesn't have a nut-on washer. It's just going into a nut housing on that bar. So I'll just put a little drop on that. You'll see on Valor's YouTube video, it's a little bit of a tight wire act, but I used to work on helicopters in the Army, Blackhawks to be specific, and I got used to working in tight places and threading bolts in weird angles and all that. So you just have to figure that out, kind of get your fingers on the top and bottom and start threading it in. So when you tighten that up, you want that cable, I think it will right itself with just a weight, but I just want to make sure that cable is where that's supposed to be. And actually, the one I have was a 14 millimeter, so I don't know if the ones that come with it, if these are those, or I found something different, but mine is a 14 millimeter, so I'm just gonna put the finishing touches on this thing. And here's what I'm talking about. I think it will right itself. Get the final squeeze on it. All right, so everything is installed. I'm gonna hold this cable down just to make sure it doesn't take the weight off of that screwdriver, and slowly let it fall. And I should have, oh wow, a counterbalanced Smith machine. Very nice. Now, I took the long road there. You saw that. But, you know, crap happens sometimes, and you have to problem solve. So the reason I included that is because if it happens to you, number one, be aware that it could happen to you. And number two, if it does, that's what you're going to have to do. It's not a big deal. You just have to be careful about taking stuff apart so it's not falling against your walls and all that kind of stuff. Just go slow, look at it, problem solve, little critical thinking, and you're going to be great. So if it went the way it was supposed to go, like that side over there, so easy. Like that was maybe 10 minutes, and that was me going back and forth, getting the right tools and all that. So you're talking 30 minutes max from beginning to end if nothing goes wrong. So I'm looking forward to it. I know my wife is going to be stoked. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like just for the pain and suffering I went through to show you this. And if you would consider subscribing to the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day.